They rise from the desert like stone giants frozen in time, older than Rome, older than Greece, older even than the Bible itself. When the first Greek travelers stood before them, they could scarcely believe human hands had built such things. And today, over 4,000 years later, the same question lingers in the minds of millions. How did the ancient Egyptians, without iron tools, without wheels, without modern machinery, create the Great Pyramids? The largest of them all, the Great Pyramid of Khufu, stood for nearly 4,000 years as the tallest man-made structure on Earth. Imagine that. For all our steel skyscrapers, our cranes, our computer-aided blueprints, no civilization managed to surpass the height of a desert tomb until the Middle Ages. Yet it was built by people who carved limestone with copper chisels, who dragged blocks weighing several tons across scorching sands, and who aligned them so precisely with the stars that even today satellites measure their orientation with awe. Legends have always surrounded these pyramids. Medieval writers whispered that they were filled with magical traps, that ancient kings hid inside them not just treasures but entire libraries of secret knowledge. Some Islamic chroniclers believed the pyramids were built by a pre-flood civilization, perhaps even before Noah. When Napoleon marched into Egypt in 1798, he reportedly spent a night alone inside the Great Pyramid. What he saw there he never told a soul, but witnesses claimed he left the chamber pale, shaken, forever changed. The mystery deepens when we ask who built them. For centuries, people imagined armies of slaves whipped into submission, thousands dying in the dust for a tyrant's vanity. But excavations tell a different story. Near the pyramids lie the remains of workers' villages, well-built houses, bakeries, breweries, even hospitals. Skeletons show signs of healed injuries, evidence of medical care. These were not slaves chained to stone, but skilled laborers, organized in teams, well-fed, and honored with burials near the sacred tombs. The pyramid was not just the pharaoh's project. It was Egypt's collective act of devotion. Still, the logistics boggle the mind. The Great Pyramid contains over 2 million blocks of stone. Some were quarried nearby, but others, massive slabs of granite, came from Aswan, more than 500 miles upriver. Transporting them required a fleet of boats, clever canal systems, and the relentless strength of human hands. To this day, scholars debate exactly how the Egyptians raised the blocks. Ramps, levers, spiral pathways climbing the pyramid itself. Each theory has holes, and each discovery adds a new twist. The truth remains one of history's greatest engineering riddles. But the pyramids are more than just feats of engineering. They're monuments of ambition, power, and belief in an afterlife so magnificent that entire nations labored to ensure their king's journey to eternity. Khufu, also known by the Greeks as Cheops, was not simply building a tomb. He was crafting a cosmic machine. Ancient texts describe the pyramid as a stairway to heaven, a place where the pharaoh's soul could ascend and join the gods. Every stone, every passageway, every hidden chamber was part of this spiritual engine. And yet, for something so monumental, the Great Pyramid hides endless secrets. Inside lies a labyrinth of passageways, some leading nowhere, others sealed off since the day of construction. There is the so-called King's Chamber with its granite sarcophagus, its ceiling made from blocks weighing up to 70 tons. Above it, tiny relieving chambers stacked like stone cushions, an ingenious way of dispersing weight so the pharaoh would not be crushed by his own tomb. For centuries, treasure hunters and archaeologists alike have wondered what might still lie undiscovered behind its walls. In recent years, high-tech scans revealed mysterious voids, hidden spaces the size of airplanes. What they contain, no one knows. But perhaps the most astonishing detail is not the size, but the precision. The Great Pyramid is aligned almost perfectly to true north, off by less than a fraction of a degree. How could ancient builders, without compasses or GPS, achieve such accuracy? Some suggest they tracked the stars, using constellations as their guides. Others believe they watched the shadows of the sun, measuring time and space with nothing more than observation and patience. Whatever the method, the result is so precise that it rivals the accuracy of modern surveying. And then there is the question of why the pyramid is where it is. Not randomly scattered, but placed at Giza on the west bank of the Nile, where the sun sets and the world of the dead begins. The three Great Pyramids there, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, line up with astonishing resemblance to the stars of Orion's belt. Coincidence? Or a deliberate attempt to mirror heaven on earth, binding the pharaoh's fate to the eternal cosmos? The ancient Egyptians believed the soul of the king would ascend to join Osiris, the god of the afterlife, who was linked to Orion. By building the pyramids in celestial alignment, they ensured their ruler's immortality. Yet, despite centuries of exploration, the pyramids still refused to give up all their secrets. In 1925, archaeologists discovered an intact tomb near the Great Pyramid filled with treasures that had lain hidden for 4,000 years. In 1954, they uncovered a disassembled wooden boat buried in a pit beside Khufu's pyramid, the so-called solar bark, meant to carry the pharaoh across the sky. And only recently, modern scanning technology has revealed hidden chambers, tantalizing voids that may still contain artifacts, texts, or even undiscovered burial spaces. But here's the paradox: the pyramids were never meant for us. They were not built to impress tourists or puzzle archaeologists. They were meant for one man, the pharaoh, and for gods who demanded eternity. And yet, the irony is that their greatest success was not in serving the dead, but in astonishing the living. While the mummies of the kings have vanished, the pyramids endure, drawing millions to stand in the desert and feel the weight of human ambition carved in stone. 4.5 millennia ago, when Khufu looked out over his completed pyramid, perhaps he believed he had secured his immortality. And in a way, he had. Not in the afterlife he imagined, but in the whispers of countless generations who speak his name, who marvel at his monument, who stare up at a mountain of stone and ask the same question: how? The pyramids are not just tombs. They are mirrors reflecting both the mystery of the past and the audacity of human dreams. They remind us that even in the harshest desert, people can build eternity from stone. And as long as they stand, the world will continue to wonder, to question, and to be humbled by the timeless enigma of the Great Pyramids of Egypt.